Welcome to Talking Water, where we investigate everything that we can do with the water industry and how you, as a business, can maybe switch your water supply, saving you a lot of money. I'm David Easson, and I'm joined by Graham Mann from Switch Water Supply.
Thank you very much, David, for having me.
Very, very welcome. You are very welcome, and so are you as well for joining us in this conversation. And it is a conversation that I think anyone in business really has to have. The idea that you can switch your water supplier. Whenever I mention your company to someone else and say, did you know you can switch water supplier? They go, what? You can switch water supplier? Really? Clearly you can. And you're the man to do it. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this market, because it is a huge market.
Yeah, the water retail market in retail sales, just to put into context, is worth around about £3 billion in retail sales. So it is a big, it is a big market. And we got into this market by listening to what the government had to say about deregulation, and they deregulated the water market in England in April 2017. And it was at that point then it triggered a light bulb moment, actually. So we went out and purchased about 147 key domain names in the industry to circle the market, to contain it in our business, and then that's when switchwatersupplier.com was born.
So at that light bulb moment, what was it for you about the market and the possibilities that led you to just go, do you know what, I need to be involved in this, and we need to work quickly?
Right, yes. Well, what actually happened was we waited about 2.5 years to see how the market would develop, because we didn't quite know exactly what business opportunities there were. But as the market developed, it was apparent there was no simple or effective way of businesses tendering their water supply contracts in a competitive environment.
So it's not like you or I with the gas and electric, simply going on USwitch or Money Saving Expert or wherever and putting in a couple of details, which that can be difficult in itself for some people. But for businesses, there was no platform to do it with.
Absolutely not, no. There's no platform to switch water supplier effectively in a competitive environment that tenders water retail contracts to the whole market. And 2 or 3 years down the line, there still isn't. So switchwatersupplier.com is the only platform that facilitates that for customers.
So what kind of results are you seeing? And what's the aim? And also how are you helping people to switch those suppliers and save seemingly quite a lot of money?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you've asked that, because it's a really buzz for me moment. I didn't actually realise the full potential of Switch Water Supplier until it started to gain traction. This year's been absolutely amazing. We've been switching large cinema chains, hotel groups, care home groups, and one in particular I recall, they've got a small group of care home in the UK, and it saved them £47,000 on a 3-year contract for switching, and nearly £50,000 back as a form of a refund due to historical billing errors with their previous water retailer.
So you're talking about big companies there, or at least companies with lots of sites, and the more sites you have, the more water you're using. But this is for anybody really with a business, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. We concentrate our efforts on the middle and the top end of the market. Unfortunately, the way the market's constructed, businesses are paying £1,000, £2,000 a year. The water retail market doesn't seem to be particularly interested in that on the platform. So typically, customers that are spending more than £20,000 a year come onto the platform. But we're seeing now contracts, 3-year contracts totaling £2 and £3 million. And we've now got a staggering pipeline of £69 million over 3 large companies who are spending £69-70 million over the 3-year contract term. So that's absolutely unbelievable.
And if they're coming to you, that would make clear business sense that anyone in business who's got a water supply, which is, let's face it, it's all of you. Yeah. It just seems to be the obvious thing to do, but it's just not kind of out there that it's possible to do it. Do the government need to do more to kind of make it obvious?
Well, I think it's up to private enterprise businesses such as ourselves to get the noise out there, and that's obviously one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing now. Now we're scaling up the business. We've got huge potential in the marketplace. We're getting big players onto the platform. And one of the key areas that we look at after switching is historical billing errors. which we'll come to a bit later on in the program. But some of the refunds that we're getting back from customers are 50, 100, 200,000 pounds on basic overcharging over the last 6 to 10 years. It's quite incredible, really.
As you say, it's not just about switching to save money in future. It's about you helping businesses to switch, yes, save money, but also to use their water a little bit smarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Water efficiency, sustainability is the key now. So I would say over the last 12 months, yes, the key drivers are, businesses want to be more cost efficient and want to save money, but the key driver is sustainability and climate change. That plays a huge part in the business now. So that's one of the key drivers for us. Is the sustainability is a message we shout loud and clear.
In the market then, and with the water suppliers, are you seen as are you public enemy number one at the moment to these people?
No, absolutely not. No, the water retailers, they're a great bunch of companies. They're operating in a challenging market. All of them. We've got fantastic relationships with I say most, or but maybe one or two in the market.
We won't mention them.
We won't mention them. But they'll come round to my way of thinking sooner or later. I am quite persuasive, David, as you well know.
Well, yes. That's how we got here today.
But yeah, I mean, we're correcting the wholesale market data. If I can just briefly explain how the market works. So all the customers' data is held in what's called the wholesale market data set, which is CMOS, which is the Central Marketing Operating System. And within that electronic filing cabinet are the billing details for all the water customers or non-domestic customers in the UK. Now, during a transition of the data, a lot of the data was either corrupted or it was put in incorrectly, and a lot of the charges and tariffs which were applicable for customers before deregulation have been dropped. So there are quite a few. I'll boldly say 7 out, if you had 10 different clients of the similar size, at least 7 of those will be incorrectly charged. So there's a lot to go at. But the fact that we're correcting the market data is good for customers, but also good for retailers because they don't want to overcharge. It doesn't pay them to do so.
Indeed. And you help people to switch as well. You give advice on how to do it. Take us through that kind of switching
process.
Yeah, the switching process, because it's not just for you and I again at home. It's about gas and electric. You click the button and then maybe the right people come up, or maybe it's just the cheapest, but not necessarily the cheapest is the best for you.
No, it's not all about price. That's in industry argument. Price. It is price led to a certain extent, but also service. So a lot of non-domestic customers are becoming quite customer savvy now. So they listen to the market, listen to what people say, and they go on to, and Trustpilot and Google ratings and stuff like that. I don't take much notice of those because they can be abused. But
the help and advice kind of that you offer, so it's not just about you being a platform and almost being faceless in this.
Yeah.
It's about you being a company that's there to help, there to advise, and while the cheapest deal might look the best deal, you might be able to say, do you know what, this company might just be better for you in this way. Why would they take that help and advice from you?
Right. There are a lot of companies out there that switched 3 years ago where their contracts are coming up for renewal and they're looking out to the marketplace and our name pops up through social media. And there are a lot of companies that just haven't switched at all. Now, those that switched 3 years ago, we're seeing some amazing deals. So we're getting better deals in terms of their water procurement. So their bills are lower, but by significant numbers, depending on what they're paying, and also providing a free water audit to all customers, where we actually audit all the bills and then we come back with proposals for further cost reduction. So it's not only the switching process. We advise them. We upload the market data to the platform. Water companies or water retailers are then advised of the customer details, the value of the contract, and request whether or not they want to participate. If they say they're going to participate, they upload the market data to the platform. 5 or 6 days later, the platform goes live for 60 minutes, and then they're positioned the best deal at the top in descending order. And then each individual water retailer has the opportunity to change the price, moderate the deal, and climb further up the rankings.
So what's been the effect of, particularly you as a platform, in this market? The market was there. I'm not sure quite how varied and swift moving the market was then, but seeing people switching, big businesses switch with big money going either way, are the companies, is the market reacting to you as a separate entity in the market now?
Yes, it's been I won't beat about the bush. It's been tough. It was tough developing the platform. It was 18 months of it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my entire business career. It was challenging, and we had a great team of people around us. My wife Nikki, who's the water retail market director, is an absolute diamond. She operates the system, and she's the one with a lot of expertise and knowledge. I came into the picture before we got together, and we're jointly directors within this particular company. But yeah, we're there to advise. We're independent, impartial and transparent. So the very fact that customers, if they want to, can watch the bidding, the tender process, the 60-minute process, they can actually just click onto the hyperlink and watch the entire tendering process where potentially the prices can move up and down. So that's the transparency bit of it. And at the end of the process, the screen freezes, and then they get a copy of the pricing schedule, together with copies of their water audit reports that identify areas that require further modification and billing errors sorted out by our audit team.
So that sounds, I won't say exciting, but it also maybe looks a little bit terrifying at times to see that's your future being organized. So it's in 60 minutes on that platform. You can see how it's going. Well, companies, they're aware that you want to change, you want to switch, but they want your business as well. So
yeah,
it's quite nice to have people fighting over you.
It is. I'm a bit of a power freak. Those who know me intimately, I like to be in control. But it's simplicity in itself. It is challenging getting our name out there. It is challenging getting the message out there. There are other ways of switching. I mean, you can appoint an energy broker or a water broker, but they do things on a manual basis. There's no platform, no impartial, transparent, and independent platform that actually works in this way. And I think now we're starting to gain traction, because if you want to switch as a business, you've got to identify the 20 retailers that are out there in the marketplace, pick out 2 or 3, and then ask them to quote. And they'll do it on a manual basis, but that's fine for a very small business. But if you're talking about one of the big retailers or some of the companies that have got 2, 3, 4, 500 sites, or a big hotel company spending, £5-10 million a year on water, that's not really. You've got to inject some competitive spirit into the process, and this is basically the only way of doing it. But hats off to the water retailers; they've stepped up to the plate, and they're participating, which is fantastic for us.
So when I'm intrigued by this 60-minute process, as you can tell. So if my company's put forward in that hour, are you confident that there's going to be a bit of a battle? That there's going to be all the companies that could be their supplier are going to be on that platform at the same time, and they're going to say, right, I think we should go for this. I think this looks like a company that we can do business with. Yeah,
that's a really good question, because when we're watching the process, you don't get 16 retailers bidding on the platform. Some have got Scottish licenses, some have got English licenses. If it's the specific client criteria for some retailers, one in particular, they'll only bid on something that's in excess of £150,000 a year, although recently that's come down to £75,000 a year. So they have different bidding criteria, customer criteria, as the market develops and they learn more about the industry, more about clients and more about the business, because don't forget, this is only year 7 of the business. So we've got a long way to go for maturity, but certainly it's going in the right direction. It's a learning process, really. It's learning for us. We learn something new every day. But I must admit, I do get a kick when we know what's in the pipeline coming up, and we're looking forward to some of the really larger tenders going onto the platform. And this will be a celebratory moment for us, because never in my wildest dreams would I anticipate someone spending 5, 10 or 15 million pounds a year on water. It's absolutely fantastic. And I guess from our perspective, when these clients come on board and the noise travels down the media channels, then hopefully that will address sort of like the silence in the water industry, and get more customers to dip their toe in the water, pun, and and see what we've got to offer. At the end of the day, the platform was built for customers and water retailers to do business in a competitive environment or a level playing field, and that's basically it. So you can do it with confidence. And also, I'd like to mention that we're governed by Ofwat's codes of conduct for third-party introduction businesses. So we work to a specific customer quality, customer guaranteed standard. And I think from looking in the market, I think we're basically the only water business that actually operates and is governed by Ofwat's codes of conduct.
And that's the key part, isn't it? Because in this process, everyone needs to trust each other all the way through this, and the platform needs to be secure. That the water companies know that they're dealing with it's legitimate from your side.
Ethics.
Also, all the businesses out there who either have switched water or they want to switch water in future, they need to know that what they're doing through you is also legitimate, but also it's good for them in the future, and it's an ongoing thing as well. As you mentioned. You mentioned companies 3 years ago who might be looking to switch again.
Well, we're getting companies now that are renewing their contracts on the platform, and we're still operating a service for them going forward if they ever get leaks or they have problems with their billing cycles or their bills, anything else like that. They make one call or send one email, and we deal with it normally within 30 minutes. Normally within 30 minutes, but as that increases, it'll become increasingly challenging for us. But yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. Some of the things that are going on in the market, we're still seeing new retailers set up in business, so that's good as well. So it increases the competition, and the landscape gets even bigger. There's something in the water retail market for everybody, really.
And as a business, as a new business maybe, or a long-standing business, it's another thing that maybe you've not looked at, maybe you've not really considered in the past, that water is a place where you can save.
Absolutely. Well, we've just uploaded a client now. They spend just under £500,000, it's over £500,000. They've got about 6 sites. And we did some water audit work for them about 7-8 years ago through a third-party introduction from an energy consultancy. And we got them back about 60,000. And at that point, there was no opportunity to switch. Then completely out of the blue, that same client came to us through a colleague of ours, and we've now uploaded onto the platform. And I think the saving for their Scottish and English sites is about 66,000 a year. So that's £180,000 saving on their water supply contracts over the 3-year term. And that's before we apply any water efficiency methods across the estate.
So that's the plan. That's the idea. It's a simple idea, but like the majority of businesses, the simple ideas seem to be the ones that will bring in customers in future, and to keep hold of them as well. In future, on Talking Water, we'll be digging deeper into what you can do with switchwatersupplier.com and exactly how you go through the process. It sounds simple. There's some things you need to be ready with, but that with any business deal, it's exactly what you need to be prepared for, isn't it? You need to be ready to make that move, but also knowing that the positive nature of the results is going to work out for you. Graham Mann, thank you for joining us on
Thank you very much indeed. Water. Thank you.
We'll be back with more episodes of this. You know the idea now. Now you've got to dig deeper into it and work out how you and your business can be helped by switchwatersupplier.com. We'll see you next time.